All right, YouTube. This is 2 Cent back with my 2 cents on Octopath Traveler, and I'm pretty mind boggled by just some of the current things going on with Octopath Traveler, and I've kind of waited a few days to just kind of, I don't know, relax, get my kind of head around it a little bit here. I don't want this to seem like it's like an angry thing or an upset thing, because I'm neither of those things. And I'm quite happy with like the gameplay and all the things that I've been able to enjoy from the game. So before I kind of get into this, that's just what I wanted to preface it with. But there's some things here I just don't understand of what's going on. And the first one is just, why are we having break weeks? Why is there no content update? And I understand that, sometimes the only update is to give us a unit. And I get that. Like, maybe it's not that much of an update. But what I don't understand is we have all of this kind of timeline and everything. We have all of these characters. We have a bunch of 4-star characters that haven't come out. If you want to have an off week, can't you just at least give us a little bit of a hype of dumping like 2 4-stars into the general pool? Even it doesn't even have to have its own specialty sort of thing. Just give us like a step up banner for 2 5-stars already in the standard pool, and then the bonus is the 4 stars. The new 4 stars are also right up in that step up. It doesn't seem to make sense, for one, that the 4 stars aren't in the game, and two, that we're having these kind of break weeks. And with that, I let me just kind of show you something just from it's from Sensor Tower. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, but it's kind of where we can go in and you can log in and see different games, and it kind of gives you the revenue that those games have. It does have some caveats. Sometimes you're not able to track any iOS data, and so you only get the Android data. And then for games that are like on PC, Android, and iOS, or the Amazon App Store, you're only getting really the Android version of that. So So basically what I'm saying is, take it with a grain of salt that these aren't like the end-all numbers. They're just kind of numbers that show us the trends, and there's quite a few Android users, especially when it comes to mobile games. Alright, so I found this off of Reddit there. So this is the original Reddit poster up there. You can kind of read that FPS Drop. This information is from them. This entire thing, it's got 58 comments, and then they made another thread based off of one of the primary comments in there, just kind of discussing a lot of the issues that gets more into the monetary system and things like that. Things that might gonna get a little bit more into the weeds of this particular video, but I think was actually very, very good. And I think you should go to Reddit, check out both this post here and the other post, and kind of give your thoughts on it there. So, looking at the data here, what they do is they kind of have some other Square Enix games. So if you don't know, Grand Blue Fantasy, Final Fantasy, the 15 New Empire there, and then of course the FFBE games, War of the Visions and whatnot. So we can kind of see what it was for November, or October, November, December. Obviously we're not going to have January's numbers until like this time in February, so we might have a little bit of more to go on once we get some more months under our belt. But you can see that the revenue there for JP was 1.6 million, 1.4 million, and then dropped to 500,000, which to me, I'm less worried about our global numbers, even, of course, because they did go up slightly, but I have a feeling quite a bit of that is actually having to do with Alphen and Cyrus, because you remember Alphen came out around, I think, the 30th of November, and so we had quite a bit of his banner while we were in December. And then of course everybody was excited for Cyrus. You have our other Christmas units out there, Nicole and whatnot. If anybody ended up spending even a little bit on some of those bundles, we had like the Black Friday deals and stuff like that as well, that kind of transitioned into to December, at least in portion. But that is kind of concerning to see JP drop so much. I don't follow enough of the JP over there, so I'm sure somebody out there who does might be able to tell us in the comment section a little bit of why they might think that might be. But I do look at this and say, okay, so in when just before Alphen came out, right, we had an off week then too, where we just didn't have an update, and then they kind of hit us with back to back with the Alphen and Therion and whatnot banners. So if you look at that and say, okay, we had an off week and we dipped quite a bit from the 700,000 to 400,000. And then we kind of went back up, and part of that was from a very hyped unit, and then Alphen being also another hyped unit. What is January going to be like when we started off without an update, basically to bring anything new to the game? And I wonder if we're going to get some sort of an answer of maybe something that's really going to be big coming. But we ended up having the live stream pushed back from the 4th all the way to the 13th, and I think that is kind of the other piece of this that's really kind of made me, I'm not going to say worried or anything like that, but has kind of raised my eyebrows a little bit of kind of what's going on a little bit, because we're going to just, for one, not have an update, and then whatever the circumstance is or was for the pushing back, what it has told me about that live stream is whatever it is, it wasn't big enough for them to push through that sort of a live stream to have happened for this next week. So maybe on the 13th, maybe that following update is going to be the big one, and they just have like a kind of week leeway in there, which makes sense for a company to do that, to kind of have a cushion for releasing stuff. But that's never been the case so far, that our Tavern Talk just kind of like, okay, here it is, and then here was the Bravely Default collab right after that. So I have no idea what is going on here. But when you kind of look at this and kind of look at like the Sensory Tower numbers and whatnot, you kind of look to see, okay, no update, and then we're going to, we're pushing back our live stream. So what I guess the question is kind of open-ended of what are we doing here? What is the kind of thought process behind this? Because right now, and I don't know if anybody else has seen it, but I see another pretty big drop off. We just came off the kind of holiday hype. We came off the big old Cyrus hype. We have the people who did get him, and the people who didn't get him. But now we're having a long break, and what I'm kind of worried about is the longer break you have in between content drops is just more chances for people to start playing something else. And a lot of those individuals may have every intention of coming back and playing when the next kind of update gets dropped or whatnot. But you are going to steadily just end up losing people just because they're going to have interest in another game. It's caught their attention. They're going to forget a little bit about this game. And without that kind of retention, which is a lot of the reasons why you see in these games a lot of things that are really encouraging people to come back daily into the game. I think we've lost a little bit of that as well. And it's never been super impactful for Octopath Traveler, because you're getting that 5 daily for doing your dailies, and you do get some login rewards, but they're so on the small end of things that people don't feel like they're super necessary to do every day, which as a free-to-play player, I've had to do them every day so I can have enough to do anything. And so free-to-play players are maybe in a little bit of it doesn't impact them as much, because for one, we probably weren't going to roll in another character anyway, because we're probably out after the New Year's banner, or we're saving for some really important unit that we really want, and we have to log in every day, or we have absolutely no rubies because that's the only way we get them. So I'm talking less about that because, I've still been logging in every day and putting in all the time to get the dailies and everything done for my, 15 rubies per day. And one day I'll be able to roll again. But I am worried that we just keep losing more and more people who are paying players. And without them, there isn't a future of the game. And that is a little concerning. For all of us, of what's kind of steadily been happening to the game with these content breaks. So once again, part of the reason that mobile games update so frequently is because they want to keep that player retention as high as possible. What did they say? Like, it takes 21 days to make or break a habit. They said that, I don't know, 30 years ago when I was a kid. But I think our kind of attention spans have probably shortened over the years with the advent of having just more options and choices in general. And right now there's a lot of good mobile games that are on the market, and some that are really good that are coming out. And unless you're really in love with the IP, which this is a great IP, this is a great game. The gameplay is AAA quality. It just has this, the gacha mechanics attached to it. But I am concerned that we're going to drop a lot of our spending players, and that's going to be a very traumatic thing for the game going forward. You can see here, like, back to the data here, War of the Visions has been out for years. I played that when it first came out in 2020. And we're looking at, with both the global and JP put together, we're barely, we're still under just the global version of War of the Visions. That's crazy, in my opinion, of just how small and how limited the financing, the revenue that's coming in. And like I prefaced at the beginning, it doesn't account for iOS users or anything like that, but Android is going to be a huge chunk of this game. And if the kind of stats kind of tell us the trend kind of like this, it is a little bit concerning. Unless we're having like some sort of big collab at the end of January, I can't think of a unit that they're going to bring out that's going to be near the level of hype of Cyrus, especially right after having Cyrus come out. It just seems like to me like we're going to be this 700,000, 400,000, 600,000, and then like drop to like 200,000 for the month of January. And I feel like that could send some pretty strong signals. I don't know about what's happening in the JP side of things. Maybe they're going to be able to jump back up. I really hope so. It seems really weird to be that low in December. So I don't know. I've ranted for a while now, and now I'm just kind of talking. Let me know what you kind of think down below. I feel like it's just weird to have a break week when you could utilize just another chance to have some revenue during the week. Maybe and maybe only a few people are going to put in for it, but it keeps people playing the game, and then they'll be around for that next update that might be bigger. Anyway, that's been my 2 cents.